Mamba Mentality is the superstar basketball player Kobe Bryant's guide on how he played basketball, his knowledge, process, and tactics he used. However, this book can help us learn about life, what kind of hard work is required to be the best, and how world-class people handle things differently to average people. If you are a sportsman, businessman, or someone who wants to be exceptional in what you do, this book will be a good read for you. The book is structured into separate topics that explains various things in his career with related images. In the book, he mainly talks about 4 things. Number 1 is process and craft. Number 2 is injuries and how he handled them. Number 3 is mentors and support staff. Number 4 is players and how he tackled them. Process and craft. This is one of the important sections in the book for readers who are reading just to learn from his life. He discusses his mental and physical training process and the preparation before the games. Also discusses how he learned new things about the game and the importance of mastering every aspect of the game. Most players would have focused on improving their basketball skills, but he looked at everything that's related to the game. He says he read and studied the rule book thoroughly. He explains how he managed to get advantage over other players in certain situations, just by knowing the right rules and taking advantage of them. Injuries. In this section, he talks about the importance of managing workload and need for rest for peak performance. He also talks about how he prevented injuries and how he played with injuries. Most other people would have just explained the injury and its impacts. But Kobe discusses the injuries in detail in order to show the importance of managing workload. If you are not a sports person, you might not get injured like Kobe did. However, the important lesson is whatever we do in our life, we have to make sure our body is functioning well to get the maximum performance in whatever we do. So, it's important to learn things he did outside basketball game to maintain his energy and body. Mentors and support staff. Kobe had several mentors. He explains how he worked with different mentors, who were successful, why they were successful, and the importance of great mentors in his career. The support staff played a vital role in his success. They knew what he expected from them, and Kobe knew how to get the best out of support staff. Players and how he tackled them. In this section, he talks great detail about the players he competed with, how he tackled them, the strategies he used to play against each player. He studied the strengths and weaknesses of other players in detail, to prepare for every possible situation in the game. If you are not a basketball player, you might wonder why you should read this book. Yes, it's mostly about his basketball career. As a reader, I didn't have any clue about the basketball-related strategies and content. However, his attention to detail and preparation for each part of the game and opponent was fabulous. We can learn his core process and lessons behind everything he did, and apply directly to our own life, job, or business, to achieve substantial results. Lessons from the book. Start the day early, to balance work and life. As a top basketball player, he had a very busy schedule, packed with training sessions. In such situation, most people would have given the priority to their career. However, Kobe didn't want his sports career to affect the life with his family. He wanted to spend more time with the family. So, the only option he had was to start the day earlier than others, and get the additional time. By starting the day early, he got time for additional training session, as well as time to spend with family. He says, by the time his children got up, he was there with them. They didn't know that he has already completed a training session. As you can see, world's top performers like sportsmen and businessmen start their day few hours earlier than the average person. When the world wakes up, you have done most of the important work. This gives you more time, as well as flexibility for the rest of the day. So, if you want to become successful in whatever you do, start the day early. Be curious and ask questions. Asking questions is one of the easiest way to get information and learn new things. However, it's a skill not used effectively by most people in their lives. Sometimes, they think it's not important to ask questions, and sometimes, they are afraid to ask. Kobe was complete opposite. He was curious, and wanted to learn more and more. Whenever he was with a coach, former player, or a teammate, he was asking questions one after another, regardless of the location and situation. This allowed him to get the most from the coaches, and former players, to improve his game. He says, most people liked his approach and happily answered his questions. But, there were some people who didn't understand, and were not willing to take time. Often, we don't ask questions, fearing the embarrassment of not getting an answer from the other person. But he says, I'd rather risk embarrassment now, than be embarrassed later when I have 0 titles. So, we should be curious, and ask questions in order to gain knowledge, and improve the way we do things. Diagnose weaknesses and turn them into strengths. Weakness, no matter big or small, is something that will hold us back from getting to our targets. Therefore, identifying weaknesses, and addressing them should be something we should do, regardless of what we do. Generally, we consider weakness as something we can't do, or something that we are not able to do as expected. Kobe was in next level when it comes to identifying weaknesses. He thought anything that other players are able to do, while he can't do, is a possible weakness. Everyone has their own ways of doing things. So, not being able to do something that another person is doing, is not actually a weakness. But, he was prepared to think that way and improve. As a kid, he was not able to throw with his left hand. That's a common thing, as most people have a dominant hand, which they are comfortable using, compared to the other hand. But, he felt it was a weakness. So, he started working on using his left hand by brushing teeth, writing name and so on. As a result, he was able to throw from both hands, when playing basketball. It is a huge advantage, as most other players will have one dominant hand. Not only he diagnosed his weaknesses, he also turned them into strengths. So, we should find out our weaknesses in life, and solve them as quickly as possible, while looking for ways to convert them into strengths. Understand your limitations, and plan accordingly. In life, things don't always go according to the plan. Even if we have a perfect plan, there will be things not within our control, that could impact the end result. So, when you are faced with limitations, it's important to deviate from the plan, and create a new plan that works with the limitations. He got injured from time to time, as any sportsman do in their career. With an injury, it's obvious that you can't execute the original plans. However, ego gets in the way of most people in such situations. They think they can still work on the original plan. As a top basketball player in the world, Kobe could have easily thought that way. However, he was different. When injured, he first checked what are the things he can and cannot do in the field. Then, he formulated a new plan based on the limitations. By changing the plan, he was still able to do major contributions to wins, as well as protecting him from worsening the injury, and missing more matches. So, understand your limitations, and plan according to maximize the results. Prepare for the opponents and competitions. In old days, people mostly focused on improving their skills, rather than checking about the opponents and competition. But these days, studying the opponent has become a crucial part in sports, as well as other areas like business. Today, sports teams analyze every aspect of the opponent players, and create specific plan for each individual, based on their strengths and weaknesses. Kobe was a player who believed a lot in preparation. He would like to watch the last game of his opponents, and study how they play at the time of facing them. He used to watch videos of opponents, identify their best players, their strengths and weaknesses. This preparation allowed him to have an edge over his competition. As you can see, top performers prepare for whatever challenges they may face. So, make sure to prepare for opponents in your daily tasks, as well as in your business. My rating. I would rate the book as 8 out of 10. If I was reading this as a basketball player, I would have given 9 or 10 rating. Instead, I was looking to learn from his successful career, and apply these lessons to my life in general. So, the part where he discusses basketball tactics, and other players were irrelevant to me. Next reads, No Limits. No Limits is a book by Michael Phelps, who is one of the most successful swimmers in history, with more than 20 Olympic gold medals. In this book, he shares knowledge on how he became successful, how he was coached, how he faced obstacles, and how he approached all the major challenges in life. Also, the book contains how he was able to conquer major races, and become a swimmer that was very hard to beat in majority of his career. If you want to learn about what it takes to be successful in life, this is another excellent read. Faster Than Lightning. Faster Than Lightning is the autobiography of Usain Bolt, the all-time fastest man in the world. In this book, he discusses about his childhood, how he became a runner, and lessons he learned from the journey that gave him 8 Olympic gold medals. He also discusses his process, how he was coached, and how he won the hearts of millions of people. This is another fascinating read, if you want to learn how the world's most successful people became best at what they do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like this video, to watch more videos related to personal development related topics.